Hi everyone, my name is Heather Wilmore, and this is my final presentation. Have you ever gone into a clothing store and just put something on and not looked in the mirror and just walked out with it? Neither have I. That's because when we try on clothing, we think about how we feel in the clothing, how we're expressing ourselves in the clothing, and how other people are going to see us when we wear the clothing. For my presentation, I will be discussing if fashion is considered art and why it should be considered art. Fashion has evolved a lot, and back before when clothing was first worn, I guess, which is who knows how long, it's debatable. It was just material. It was just something to cover your body with. It was for modesty or comfort or for warmth or to protect yourself from the heat or whatever. It wasn't for expressing yourself. But as time's gone on, we have so many options and we choose, and so much time goes into making fashion and clothing that I just think it really has become art. So the first source that I used was my scholarly source, and it was from an expert in art from the Journal of Arts and Humanities. And I pulled a quote from this one because I really thought it related directly to art and how I'm trying to prove fashion is art. Fashion design related closely with lifestyle and whole year, from the every details, from the surface reflecting modern people's ways of thinking, lifestyle, aesthetic trends. This article is from an expert in art in China and talks about all the new ways art is coming out with all the new trends and details and thinking behind art. I think this is a good insight on why fashion is art because it shows that clothing is not just a piece of cloth anymore. Fashion is now carefully thought out to express the designer and get a specific reaction to the person wearing it and the people that see that person wearing it. So people spend hours and hours and hours sketching designs, and then it goes to the factory, and then people are spending time stitching it and making sure the lengths are right to fit people, tight in the right spots and loose in the right spots, and for all shapes and sizes that they want to be wearing their clothing. And then it goes into stores, and then people go into the stores and pick out specific clothing because that's what they like and that's what they want to use to express themselves with. Then they put it on and wear it around, and then other people see them in it, and then they have a feeling about it. So I just think that this really related to art, and how the fashion designers are using fashion as a way to express themselves, which is just like art. Another source I used, it was an article titled "Fashion May Be Art, but Does It Belong in a Museum?" And that was from the Washington Post. This article discusses if fashion is art enough to be in a museum, and it discusses how it makes people feel when they see a collection of art from an artist with an exhibit in a Jewish art museum. It also talks about the different fabrics and colors used in his collection. So I think for this specific artist, he was using happy colors, bright, vibrant colors, and it talked about how people's faces lit up when they went to the museum. And so this artist slash fashion designer, in my opinion, was using his fashion to make people smile and feel energetic and happy. And I don't know if that's exactly what he was going for. That's open for interpretation, just like with any art piece. But I just really thought that this fit in well with the argument is fashion art. And specifically also because this piece talks about a fashion designer that had his fashion in a museum, which also brings us into the next thing. Is fashion a true art form? And this was an article on TheGuardian.com. This article argued both points of fashion being an art and not an art. It spoke about how much this article argued or spoke about how much work is put into designing and making clothes, and that it is more difficult to make fashion than it is to make a painting. Like I said before, you have to make sure the lengths are right, that it's tight in certain places, that it's loose in certain places. You know, if you want it to be sexy, it might be tighter in the breast area, or if you want it to be comfortable, it might be loose all over, or if you want it to be practical for someone working out, maybe you need to make it longer so when they bend over it doesn't slide up. There's so many things and thoughts that you have to put into it. And not just being practical, you also want it to look good on the person, and you want people to be attracted to it, and you want people to feel like when they wear it, they're expressing themselves. So I think so much thought and energy goes into fashion. This article discusses if fashion is art enough to be in a museum, and it discusses how it makes people feel when they see it. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. This article argued both points of fashion being an art and not an art. It also talked about a fashion designer named Donna Karan and how she went to these museums that, you know, her husband dragged her to or something like that. And she was going to them and she talked about how much she hated this one painting, and it happened to be a Picasso. And I just think that this was a really bad argument on why fashion is not art, because if one fashion designer / artist doesn't like another artist that's, you know, world renowned, doesn't mean that they're still not an artist. They might be a little ignorant. They might be an ignorant artist, or they could just not have a liking for Picasso, but that doesn't mean that they're not an artist themselves. And then the next one I chose, which is my favorite one, is about Muslim headscarves or hijabs, and this article is about how women who wear hijabs have turned it into art. And some women who wear hijabs in the Middle East feel oppressed. Some of them like how it feels to have, you know, the hijab and what it presents. Either way, these women are taking this and turning it into art. I thought this was really interesting because I've watched a true life documentary on MTV about women in the Middle East coming out and expressing themselves, and one way was through getting different colors of hijabs, and how it was at the time, it was years ago, but at the time it was very, you know, rare to go to a place where you could get different colored ones. And I just thought it was so interesting how they really felt like it was so important and really made a statement to express themselves with these different colored hijabs. And also, I watched Shahs of Sunset, and last season there was a personality on there, and she started her own hijab line for women in America or the Middle East that wanted to start the new trend with the hijabs and wearing different colored ones. And I just thought that was like really cool and a really great turn on taking people who feel oppressed and letting them really express themselves. And I think that's so important. So that one really, I saved the best for last on that one. So for my visual aid, I'm wearing a shirt. It's a camo shirt. So camo was normally for hunting, so you can blend in, but now it's become very trendy. I like it because it's neutral, and it's like, I mean, not the new black, but it's a neutral color, so you can wear it with other colors. You can wear it with bright colors, dark colors, whatever you want. And so my specific shirt, it says chill across. And I think I wear this shirt, it's my most comfortable shirt, but it also says chill on it. So I didn't really think that much into it until I started to do this assignment. But now I'm thinking, well, I do wear this shirt a lot when I go out, when I'm like not wearing makeup and I have to run to the store, or I'm just having an off day, or whatever. Or I didn't wash my hair that day, so I wear this shirt. And then I'm just like, well, I'm wearing my chill shirt, so nobody can judge me, whatever. I'm expressing that I just want to have a chill day, I guess. And so that's something that I really like about this shirt. And then, so in conclusion to all of this stuff about fashion being art because it makes people feel certain ways, it takes more time than paintings. Women have been doing it with their headscarves and making their headscarves different colors and talking about, how much time has gone into it and how it's evolved. Fashion is clearly art because it makes people feel emotions and you can show your mood with fashion. So much effort is put into fashion and it helps people express how they are feeling or portray a desired image. It can make people feel happy, sad, whatever. Anyways, thanks for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.